Have you ever wanted to travel lately but been shocked by how much flights cost? If so, you're not alone. According to a survey by Bankrate, nearly a third of Americans traveling recently have said that the high cost will put a strain on their budget, with 22% saying that they feel like they're spending far more than they're comfortable with. And that's for good reason. The cost of flights has far outpaced inflation, with the average airfare increasing 25.6% between January of 2022 and January of 2023. Crazy, right? While there are numerous factors impacting this, some of the most significant include an increased demand for flights, pilot shortages, and, perhaps most significantly, the insane cost of jet fuel. But luckily, all is not lost. You don't have to cancel plans to visit your family or cancel that vacation you've been dreaming about for months, because today on Across the Globe, I'm going to be sharing the top 10 hacks for booking cheap flights. If you're ready, let's dive in. Number 1, use a VPN. You may have heard that you should clear your browsing history and use incognito mode when you're looking for flights. The thinking behind this is that airlines are tracking your browsing history and will serve you more expensive flights if you don't book right away, to try to get you to experience FOMO, that you are going to miss out on a cheap flight. However, according to travel agents, that's not necessarily true. While we can't independently verify one way or another, one thing that does seem to be more or less agreed upon is that you should use a VPN when you're looking for flights. In case you're not familiar, a VPN stands for Virtual Private Network and basically disguises your location when you're using the internet. According to Thrifty Traveler, a VPN is useful when you're looking for cheap flights because airlines sometimes price flights according to where they think you're searching from. If you're searching from an expensive city, for instance, they might assume that you can afford a more expensive flight than if you're searching from a less costly area. While this isn't guaranteed to always produce results, it's definitely worth a shot. Number 2, travel during off-season. Have you dreamed of going to Paris during the summer only to see that flights are over $1,000, and that's for a red-eye basic economy ticket with 4 layovers? If you're looking for cheap flights, one of the biggest tips I can give you is to travel during off-season, especially when you're looking at traveling internationally. While what constitutes off-season varies depending on your destination, a good rule of thumb is spring, late summer, and early fall. Or, if you want a little bit more flexibility, flights tend to be pretty cheap from October through March. And remember to avoid peak holiday season. It's highly unlikely that you're going to be able to find a cheap flight to Paris for New Year's Eve. Similarly, you probably won't be able to land an inexpensive flight to Costa Rica during the holidays when everyone from a cold climate is looking to get some sun and sand. Number 3, wait to book, but don't wait too long. If you buy a flight too soon, you may miss out on a great deal. But if you wait too long, you'll likely lose that deal too. And by that point, it's too late. So what's the sweet spot? Well, start your flight search early, but don't necessarily plan to buy right away. According to CNET, the cheapest domestic flights are generally found anywhere from 21 to 60 days before your trip. However, this can vary depending on your travel destination, so I recommend booking about 60 days out. When it comes to international travel, you'll want to plan for a bit more time. On average, you'll want to book a flight about 6 months in advance to guarantee the cheapest fare. However, this does vary a lot depending on the location. So let me give you some top destinations and times to book to help you out. Note that these are all trips that originate in the US. If you're booking a trip to Mexico, you'll want to book about 4.5 months to 1 month in advance. If you're looking to go to the Caribbean, you'll want to book about 5 months to 1.5 months before. When it comes to Europe, lock that ticket in about 6 months in advance, up to a year. If you're going to Asia, try booking about 10 months in advance. Number 4, stop trying to book flights on a Tuesday. According to Thrifty Traveler, the idea that it's somehow cheaper to book flights on a Tuesday is simply not true. In fact, it doesn't really matter when you book your flights, but what does matter is what days you travel. Let me explain. It's much cheaper to travel on days that not everyone else is trying to travel on. When there's tons of demand for a flight on, say, a Friday or Saturday, airlines can take advantage of that by racking up prices. But if not many people are flying on a Monday or a Tuesday, airlines might lower flight ticket prices to try to entice you to buy one. So, if you have flexibility, try to plan your travel on off days. Domestically, this means flying on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, with Thursday, Friday, and the weekend days being the absolute worst times to travel if you're looking to travel cheap. If you're looking at international flights, your options are a bit more narrow. According to travelers worldwide, the cheapest days to travel internationally are Wednesdays and Thursdays. Number 5. Use Google Flights. This may seem like a basic tip, but I'm recommending it because, well, it works. There's a reason why some of the top travel websites recommend using this for cheap, reliable travel data. One of Google Flights' key tools is that it allows you to quickly and easily see when the cheapest flights are at any time of year. Simply scrolling through the date grid feature and paying attention to the color coding will help you find the cheapest flights possible. This, of course, is best used when you have some flexibility with your travel dates. However, if you are looking for certain dates or at least a date range, another perk is that you can easily toggle the Track Prices feature to enable notifications to your email. If you do this, Google will let you know almost immediately when a flight price has dropped or when a new deal has come through, allowing you to score a cheap flight quickly and easily. Number 6. Cross-compare sites. I know, I literally just told you to use Google Flights, and while I'm not going back on that, it's also a good idea to cross-compare flights across sites. As you probably won't be surprised to learn by now, flight costs can differ depending on whether you're booking through Google Flights, direct from the airline, through your credit card portal, or through some random new app you discovered. What you're going to want to do here is to input your search criteria into different sites to determine the best deal. If this seems like too much effort, travel gurus at The Broke Backpacker recommend at least checking out Google Flights, Kiwi, Kayak, and Skyscanner. Number 7. Look into travel credit cards. There are tons of travel rewards cards that can help you land a free flight, or at the very least, seriously discounted one. And today, it's becoming more and more common for people to take advantage of this. According to CNBC, 28% of travelers are using credit card points or airline miles to book their travel. The best of these cards offer anywhere from 3 to 5 points per dollar on flights booked through the card portal. The perfect credit card to help you land the best deal obviously depends on you and your specific situation. But according to NerdWallet, some of the best travel cards out there include Chase Sapphire Preferred, Chase Freedom Unlimited, and American Express Gold or Platinum. Number 8. Find mistake flights. This is a bit like striking gold, but if you know how to do it, you may just land the best deal of your life. So, what in the world is a mistake flight? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. A mistake flight is a flight that the airline releases by error. It's usually significantly cheaper than what they intended to be, so a great hack is to snatch up the ticket before the airline realizes their mistake. For instance, in 2013, a flight to Hawaii from several cities throughout the US was mistakenly released for only $7. While the airline realizes their mistake within a few hours, I can bet that by that time several lucky souls had already snagged a trip to paradise for less than the cost of a meal at Chipotle. Now, finding error flights does require a little work, but there are a couple of sites out there designed to help you out. According to The Broke Backpacker, the best of these include Airfare Watchdog, Secret Flying, Fly for Free, and The Flight Deal. Number 9. Use the layover hack. One hack that's been circulating around the internet lately is what's being dubbed the layover hack. No, this isn't a hack where you suffer through multiple brutal 72-hour layovers until finally, a week later, you arrive at your final destination. It's much better than that, I promise. To help explain this, let me give you an example. Let's say you want to go to London. However, you notice that flights to London are over $1,000, way out of your price range. But in your search, you stumble upon a cheap flight to Paris that's half of that. So instead of booking the flight to London, you book that cheap flight to Paris. No, I'm not suggesting that you change your travel plans and go to Paris. Listen up, because here's where it gets interesting. Once you get to Paris, you hop on a cheap 2.5-hour train ride to London, and voila! Although your trip may have taken a couple hours longer than you originally anticipated, it also got that much cheaper. Number 10. Book multiple flights. While it may be a lot easier to travel direct from one location to another, it's not always cheaper. And this final hack has the potential to save you some pretty serious money. Let me explain how it works. Let's say you want to go to Barcelona. The closest major airport to you is Chicago, but a flight from Chicago to Barcelona is really expensive. However, you notice that there's a huge deal on a flight from New York to Barcelona. Furthermore, there's a really cheap flight from Chicago to New York. You see where I'm going with this? By splitting your journey into multiple legs, you have the potential to save a huge amount of money. In doing this, you can save a ton of money. What about the best places to travel in Europe? Watch this video to learn about that.